What is up, you guys? It's me, Suha St. Michaels, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So before today's video starts, if you would like to give me a like, please subscribe, and also if you subscribe, you have the option of what preference you want to see if you go on your little notifications bell, so you can see personalised videos from me, or you can see all of my content. It's up to you, I don't mind. I just appreciate the views, and the people, and the love, and the support, and people that are genuinely here for me. So I just want to give a few disclaimers before we actually get into today's video. First of all, this is a series that I'm starting. I'm also starting my third book. Yes, I have written 2 books. They're not published, but I have written 2 books. This is my third one, and I thought I would challenge myself and write something I've been trying to avoid for a long time. Write about me, and write about my life, and write about what it's like to be me and live in the mind of me, hence the name of this series, which is Suha, a look inside the mind. And this is chapter 1, and we're going to be discussing anxiety. I also want to say that the book will contain a lot more detail than this series will. This series will give you kind of a little look into what is going to be in the book, what is going to be discussed, my life, my everything about me. It sounds so narcissistic. Everything about me and just what it's like to be me. And I'm doing this purely because it's for therapeutic reasons, and it's because it's my life. And even though some people might not like what I'm going to be writing in the book, some people aren't going to like what I'm going to be saying in this motherfucking series, but at the end of the day, this is my life, and ain't no motherfucking body going tell me that I can't speak my truth and I can't speak about what the fuck I've been through and what the fuck life's done to me, because I've really been struggling the last couple of years of my life, like really struggling, and I've just started to come out of that these past few weeks. I'm starting to rebuild my foundation and get myself a little bit more stable. For those hating assholes out there, just want to say I'm not ashamed that I'm medicated. I'm not ashamed that I take antidepressants. I'm not ashamed that I am on anger medication. I'm not bothered about the fact that y'all bring up the fact that I was an ex-drug addict. I really couldn't give a shit. I couldn't care. All that shit, y'all gonna hear about that anyway, especially in the book. But I don't want to drag on too much with the intro, but they do correlate. This series is just pretty much a look into the mind of me and some life experiences. And we're going to be talking about anxiety and the relationship I have with anxiety, which is quite a strong relationship. You'll understand what I mean by that later on. And I also want to say before I forget that this kind of correlates also with the me and Suha, don't be petty now. It relates to me and Schmiegel. Y'all know who Schmiegel is. Or the girl with the teeth that looks like that. Y'all know who she is. Relates to that because I had to take a break from that because that honestly fucked my mind up. Addressing that was the first time I'd ever sat on camera and addressed that. That was the first time, even when I was in therapy and shit like that, like I never discussed that. Like obviously people, like my therapist and stuff, they knew about it, but I never really discussed it. So yeah, it's a completely fresh look, and it's my truth. So I don't care who gets offended, and I don't care what reactions I get from it. And also, I just want to say the final disclaimer is that I'm not actually doing this for public opinion, and I don't mean to say that disrespectfully. This fucking stutter. I don't mean to say that disrespectfully. I'm doing this purely for therapeutic reasons because it's going to help me pull together my book, and also pull together more of an understanding for me of me. And people that love me and people that care for me, my friends, my family. I'm a very complicated person. Um, and there's a whole lot to me. I'm like Pandora's box. Literally, you open that box and you don't know what the fuck you're gonna get. I'm a very complex personality, but I own it. And my socials are in the description below if you're interested. Sorry, I'm in a super happy mood today. I went out and did an activity with a group, and I went in and there was a girl from high school that I knew, and she's lovely. I ain't ever had no problem with her, and I'm so happy I actually got to see her. I was like, oh my god, and I just hugged her. She was lovely, and I've had the most amazing day. And I got to spend the afternoon, well, the rest of the afternoon when I got home, I got to spend that with my darling nephew. Just to give you a little update, he's just over a month and a half now, and he's like 10.5 pounds, and he is my world. He is my everything. He's just so lovely. So for everybody wondering, yeah, he's doing amazing. He's doing absolutely wonderful. He's such a lovely baby, and I'm so happy that I'm so happy that I am an uncle. Like, you don't understand. It's a feeling deep, 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 deep in your heart, and you just want to explode with the most intense euphoria and love. So starting from the beginning, I've had anxiety, honestly, for as long as I can remember, being a very, very young child. My earliest, or one of my earliest memories is actually being very young. And I used to live in Wigan still, and it wasn't far from where I lived before I went into foster care, um, which I'll get into in another video. And basically, I lived there, and we had a party one day. It was a barbecue, and there was a whole lot of kids that came over, and there was adults. And, it was a nice time, from what I can remember. But I was feeling very alienated from a young age and very anxious. I didn't develop proper social skills and proper social understandings. I didn't develop proper friendships until college. Literally, no word of a lie. The three girls I love most in this world I met in college. And shout out to y'all, because I love y'all. Y'all like some real friends, and I love y'all. I love all my friends, by the way. But yeah, I was so nervous. That's my first memory, and the feeling of being nervous and anxious, and my body shaking, and my breathing suppressing. I could barely breathe and shake. So I still to this day, when I have panic attacks or I get extremely anxious, my body from head to toe will just violently shake, to the point where I've literally got to lie on the floor, like completely flat on the floor, and my whole body is just completely shaking. And obviously there's the sweating that comes along with it. It's unintentional. It's just because you're absolutely nervous, and you're so unbelievably anxious that it's uncontrollable, and it shows physically. There's the nausea, and there's the feeling sick, there's the being sick. I've been nervous and anxious to the point where I've thrown up. I'm actually diagnosed with a panic disorder. I have really, really extreme anxiety and extreme agoraphobia. I haven't left the house properly in over a year, which is, that's why I was so happy today when I went out, because I was like, Jesus Christ, human interaction. But anxiety for me has always been a physical thing and a mental thing. To describe some of the mental things I go through, I basically panic. I think, oh my god, what if I go out on the street and I see Schmeagol? Wouldn't be pretty. Or anybody else involved in that situation. What if I'm walking out and I see my abusive ex-boyfriend? I was in a domestic violence relationship, and it was hard because nobody believed me, and nobody was there. Um, and it's just a place that I don't like revisiting. I don't like to feel weak, and he made me feel weak, and that triggered my anxiety. I'm literally, to put it blankly, I'm scared of people, and a lot of people might not understand that, but I know there's some people out there that suffer with anxiety, that will get it. I have a fear of all people, even my family that I've been around most of my life. Uh, I still get severe anxiety around them. Um, Even just doing everyday tasks, getting up, I have anxiety. Getting ready in the morning, anxiety. Trying to eat food, anxiety. Trying to sleep, anxiety. Insomnia, can't sleep, get stressed out, anxiety. Panic, frustration. It affects every part of who I am in one way or another, and I acknowledge that. I would also say emotionally it affects me because I'm constantly in a state of worrying, overthinking, panicking, stress. I find it hard to concentrate. I'm diagnosed also with extreme disassociation, which means that it's like being in a daydream. I just kind of phase out, and I can stay like that for literally hours straight. And when I come to myself and I come round, I'm like, where the hell's the time gone? Like, what's happened? And then that sends me into a panic. And so it's like a catch-22, but worse, because it affects every single part of me. Every single part. It affects my breathing. I can't take a full deep breath. I haven't been able to do that for 7, almost 8 years now. I haven't been able, excuse me, I haven't been able to take a full, like I can try. Hang on. Like I'm really trying. I can't take a full breath because I'm constantly anxious. My palms are always sweaty. I'm always fidgety and panicking and worried. It's anxiety and the emotional effect it has on you. It affects every single emotion. You can't enjoy being happy because you're constantly thinking, well, what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Or I'll be in a happy moment and trigger warning, I often doze off. Well, not doze off, but kind of fade off, disassociate. And I think a lot about suicidal ideology. And I think about suicide quite a lot. And that's something that I need to say on camera just because people don't get it. I have attempted suicide in my life 14 times. And the reason I stopped was because every single time, don't cry, every single, every, I'm sorry, every single time I tried to, every single time I tried to end my own life because of other people, I'm sorry, something stopped me. I'm trying not to cry so bad, I don't want to mess my makeup, but something stopped me every single time. And I don't know what the fuck that was. But something stopped me every single time. And I got to a point where I thought, you know what? I'm a human being. And I deserve to live a happy life. I deserve to walk out into the world and not panic and not be filled with torment, whether it's anxiety or it's depression or it's disassociation or it's, I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold it. It's not easy when you go through that, and to still think that I'm sat here today and I still have those thoughts, and I've lost 2 family members this last year. And I sit and I think to myself, they didn't get a say. They didn't get a say in whether or not they lived their lives. They didn't get a say. They didn't get a say in whether or not they passed, when they passed. And I have so much love for those family members. So much. And I sit there and I think to myself, I'm like, Jesus Christ, Michael. You sit there and you think about taking your life, and you have made attempts this past year, I'll be honest. 5 attempts since March. And those people didn't get a chance. They didn't get a say in whether they lost. They didn't get a... I haven't even got a tissue or anything. They didn't get a say in whether they left their life or their loved ones behind. They didn't get a say, and I'm sat here still struggling with those thoughts. And I think to myself, why do I even think like that? And there's people that don't even get a say in whether they pass or not. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to come back. God, I look so rough, I'm back. I tried to wipe my makeup and completely messed. Completely got eyeliner all the way down here, but I'm back. I'm back. And I never cry. I'm sorry about that. It's just, it's a hard-hitting situation. It really is. Anxiety is a psychological effect as well. It has a psychological effect. It completely messes with my mindset. It's robbed me of so much. It's, like I said, I haven't been out of the house properly in over a year, and today was my first day, and I loved it. But I was still nervous and anxious and panicky and trying to hold myself together the whole time. Psychologically, anxiety is a whole lot to deal with. It really is. It's so much to deal with, and I don't think people get it, which is why it pisses me off these days. It's becoming trendy to have anxiety and depression. If you're a real sufferer of anxiety and depression, one thing you wouldn't do is make it trendy. You wouldn't. And I take great offence to it, because I'm somebody that's sat here spending the last almost 8 years of their life in a severe anxiety battle, psychologically and physically. And it ain't fucking fun. It ain't something I want to get on the internet and make a trend about and talk about it. Oh, you know, you broke up with your boyfriend, I've got anxiety and depression. Or, you know, trivial situations that it's insulting to hear people trivialize it and make it into a trend. It's not a trend. Psychologically, I can't walk out my house alone. I'm that anxious and panicky on the inside. A couple of months ago, to give you an example, I tried to do my shopping on my own, and I was walking down the main road, and I blacked out. I completely blacked out. And when I came round, there was an old lady there. There was an old man there. And she looked at me and she said, "Are you okay?" So did he. "Are you okay? Can we get you an ambulance?" I said, "No. It was just a faint. What do I need an ambulance for?" And the lady turned to me and she said, "I don't know if you realised, but you hit your head, the back of my head, so hard on the concrete, you could hear it from the other side of the road." And I didn't even remember blacking out. I remember just walking down the street to go and do my shopping, and just like that, blacked out. It's terrifying psychologically. Anxiety is a psychological trap. It's a trap because it tricks you. It robs you of your ability to indulge in everyday life. You can't do anything and feel comfortable doing it. You can't do anything and feel safe doing it. You can't be around anybody and feel safe. You can't. There's just something there that doesn't allow that. At least in my case, anyway. And that's not fun. Believe you me, it's not fun. If I could count the hours, the days, like I said, this has been a struggle for the last 8 years, almost. And it ain't fucking fun. And of course, I have the obvious anxiety from a lifetime of being abused since I was a very young child. Abuse on every level. Every level. I've had people attack me physically on the street for looking the way I look. I've had people attack me because of the very fact I'm a man that wears makeup. I've had people attack me because of how I dress. I've had people attack me for the simple fact that I exist. Oh yeah, believe you me. You want to know what the life of the feminine gay guy's like? This is the video for you. This is the truth. It ain't fun. That causes me anxiousness. I lost my first job because, let me tell you what happened. I'll make it short and sweet. I worked in a salon, and a friend of mine owned that salon. A customer comes in, and I am washing her hair for her. Just finished drying it for her because she wanted a blow dry, a wash and a blow dry. I think a trim, but I can't quite remember. We never got to the trim part, if there was a trim part anyway. And her husband's there. He's about 45, 50. And he's just being obnoxious and rude, and he's saying out loud, "I can't believe they've got a fucking tranny working in this salon. Why would you have a faggot in your salon? Why would you have some gender confused cunt in your salon?" What he said. and I ignored him. And do you know what he did? Because the staff were getting involved at the salon to try and calm him down, I'm on the other end of the salon. He's right where the waiting area is. And as the staff are coming to calm him down, he gets up at his seat and he walks over to me. That day, I had on a white jumpsuit. I had on a wig. And I got ridiculed by that man. And do you know what he did? After I pretty much ignored him, being professional. Like I said, this was a while ago. This was my very first job. So this was when I was still coming into the person I am today. He comes over, he snatches my hair. He starts to punch me. And do you know what he said after it all got broken up? By the way, I did win the fight, yeah. And that's why I got fired. But he said afterwards, I attacked you because you're clearly confused. You don't get that you're a man. But you're not a man. And he said to me, you're not even human. I'm repulsive, he said. I make him feel repulsed. I got fired because they didn't want any problems. I was told it was my appearance. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. And I got told it was my appearance. Losing jobs makes me anxious. The way I look makes me anxious. But this is me. This is me. This is Suha. I'll call myself Michael every now and again, but Michael's dead. He's long gone. This is Suha. Call me Suha or call me Susu. Or call me Sue. I'm not Michael anymore. That person that people were so used to walking all over, physically attacking. One of my ex-best friends set me up. And I got jumped twice. And still to this day, I'm affected by that severely. Still to this day, I don't know why the fuck I was attacked. But I hate the saying it comes with the territory. But obviously when you look like this, you're going to get ignorance. I understand that. You're going to get people that don't like it. I understand that. But good 97%, I would say, good 97% of the time. I've never responded to people. I've literally sat there and let people beat me up. Because I used to be terrified to defend myself. And then I was like, I don't want to be that person that gets picked on. My anxiety stopped me from defending myself, and I realised after I was attacked the second time by my ex-best friend, aka Schmeagol, fucked up teeth. See, I still can't be serious when it comes to where I've got to throw a dig in somewhere. I can't stand her, but yeah. That's me. I've got it. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Which moves me on to the next point. I'm attacked. I've been attacked. I've had strangers stop me on the street, scream at me. I've been spat at. I've had food thrown at me. I've had drinks thrown at me. I've had takeaways thrown at me. I've had cups of coffee thrown at me. I've had verbal abuse. I've had people come up to me on the street. And if they've not put their hands on me, they're definitely screaming, "You fucking faggot," or, you queer. And first of all, like, it's not the words that affect me, it's the people. It's the people, because, like, how I look at it, it's like, if y'all can come up with something that I haven't heard, I will literally take you out for a drink, and I will pay for the drinks the entire night. Literally, it's more the people, because you just don't know what people are going to do. So when I got out to that stage of, the last time I was attacked for my sexuality, didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense because, and it still doesn't, even when I think back to arguments and, mean, horrible people dig about my sexuality. And I used to be so affected by it because of the anxiety. And nowadays, my mental perspective on that has completely changed because I sit there and I think to myself, why does my sexuality, why does the way I look, why does how I'm dressing affect you so much to the point where you want to put your hands on me? Or you want to throw stuff at me? Or some people have gone, it's happened more than once. It's happened more than once. Some people have literally spat at me. Yeah. I've had people beat me with sticks for being gay. I've had the shit kicked out of me by, I'm not going to say who, but let's just say a family member for being gay. That family member disowned me. That family member to this day hates my guts. All because of the fact that I'm gay. And I embrace my authenticity. And authenticity doesn't mean that you're a good person. Or authenticity doesn't mean that you're pure or that you're innocent. Authenticity is owning exactly who you are and rocking that shit. And I'm always the first one to be like, yo, this is me. Take it or leave it. This is me. Because I spent so long giving in to the anxiety about my looks, about how I dress, about my sexuality, about my physicalities. I've had people laugh at the fact that I've got stretch marks. I've had people laugh at the fact that I've got a few extra pounds. I've had people laugh at everything about me. I used to be severely bullied. From childhood all the way up until the point I left high school. It never stopped. It was relentless. And that built the anxiety more and more and more. And I remember being in foster care and it was the end of year 11. Coming towards the end of year 11, just after I'd been attacked. And I would go to school and it still breaks my heart thinking, this is how defenseless and vulnerable and weak I was back then. I would sit in the car and I would cry. It took me, I lived in Haywood, which is in Rochdale at the time. So it was an hour and a half drive to school in the mornings, and for the entire 90 minutes, I would cry. I would cry. And I would beg my foster dad, because he was normally the person that took me. I would beg him, please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go in this school. I don't want to be tormented. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want people picking on me just because of the fact I'm quiet and I'm a nice person. I don't want people getting comfortable fucking with me. For what? Because at that time I was an easy target. My anxiety was sky high in high school, especially year 11. I went through hell in year 11. Hell. When I was attacked, that lasted 2.5 minutes. Nobody bothered to break it up. Imagine being attacked in front of a school full of people, and there's teachers there, stood there. One actually was laughing. Oh yeah, well, that's there's 6, 7 people on me. I get thrown to the ground. I've got 6 people kicking me, stamping on me, nearly sending me blind. One of them, oh yeah, gets worse, believe you me. One of them took a bottle of piss. One of them literally pissed in a bottle. And this is what I mean when I stand by the fact that those 2 attacks were set up, and they were a targeted attack, and I don't know why. But you don't just come to school with a bottle of piss in your bag. You just don't. But if you're coming to set somebody up, or to embarrass them and humiliate them and really make their anxiety shoot through the roof. Do you know what I did after that attack? I attempted suicide. And what pisses me off is there was people in the house that night that could have helped and didn't. I'll tell you the story, trigger warning. It was a couple of days after I'd been attacked. I had such bad agoraphobia and anxiety. I did not want to leave the house. I was begging, I was screaming, I was crying, I was kicking off. I was saying I am not leaving this house to go into that school and be targeted. And I don't even know why the fuck I'm being targeted. I'm being set up to be attacked. Not once, but twice. Yeah. I'm being set up to be attacked. For what? For what? I still to this day can't get an answer for that. But yeah, that night, I decided I'm going to self-harm. I had a really, really bad problem to self-harm. It was, at that time, it was cutting, and it was almost like an addiction. It was, honestly, to tell you the God's honest truth, it was extremely, extremely concerning to not only myself, but people around me, just how much I was self-harming. That night, was recovering because a couple of days before, I'm sure it was either a day or 2 after the attack, I took a razor from the bathroom, smashed the plastic off it so I could get access to the razor, and literally from my head, like in my scalp, literally from the top of my head to literally in between my toes, I went mad. Yeah, I went mad because of the anxiety, because of the alienation, because of the bullying, and mainly because of the bullying, the depression, and the anxiety. So I was still healing from that attack, and I was speaking to Samaritans. I'd been talking to them for a few days, and I phoned them again because I felt down, really, really down. And I didn't get diagnosed with double depression until, God, after I was 18. So I didn't know what it was. And I remember thinking back to being in that room and just thinking, my life's so shit. So shit. At that time, I had no friends. I had nobody that was standing up for me. I had nobody that was even showing me they cared. So I opened my bedroom window after I'd got off the phone, because basically my foster mum, who's a bitch, came in and she said, "You're being so fucking loud, I can hear you through the walls. I've got work tomorrow, get off the phone." This is when I'm on the phone to Samaritans, by the way. So I got off the phone. Not long after that, I opened my bedroom window fully, and I sat on the ledge with my legs held out over the edge, and I remember feeling how cold it was. It was really cold. I remember looking around at all the houses and people's back gardens, and I remember thinking to myself, I don't want this life. I do not want this life. And I started to push myself ever so slightly, more and more forward. So more and more off the edge. And I don't know what caused me to do it. I think I just, at that moment in time, I was only about 16 at this time, I don't know. I still to this day I don't know what come over me. I think I just had enough. I think that's what it was. I just had enough, and I threw myself out my window. It was second floor house, so wasn't far, but I was still damaged. I did hit my head quite hard, and I had a lot of bruising, especially down this side and my rib and my thigh area, because I'd landed not sideways, but kind of like on a slant, but on my side, if that makes sense, mostly on this side. And my head hit the ground. And nobody came out. Nobody. Absolutely nobody came out to help me. Nobody. Nobody. No one. And I had to climb back up the pipe to get back in my room. Imagine the anxiety that causes somebody when they're alienated, because my foster carers are a different story. But my second set of foster carers, my first set were actually good people. My second set were smoke and mirrors at first, and then it all came out. They alienated me. I will tell you a story that really, really messed my anxiety up, and it really, really stuck with me. And it kind of fed into my disassociation. It fed into my depression. It fed into my suicidal mind at that time. It fed into so many things. But I'll tell you a story about what happened one day. My foster mum and dad had invited their daughter over, and at the time, when I lived with the second set of foster carers, they had another lad living with them. He was fostered as well. So his daughter comes over. It was the day after his son got back from Thailand. So it was his daughter's three kids, her husband, the fostered lad, foster mum, foster dad, the son and his girlfriend. So there was a few people in the house that day. And we're all sat in the living room at first. And my foster sister, she comes in and the kids run in and everybody's happy and she starts going down. Basically, it's like a couch here, it's like a 3-seater, and then a 2-seater, and then a chair. And I was sat on the chair. And she starts from the 3-seater and she's hugging everybody. Hi, hello, oh, I've missed you. She gets to me, completely skips over me. Completely. Completely doesn't even say anything to me, skips over me completely. And goes right on to hugging the next person next to me and hugging everybody else. I struggled at that time. I had such severe feelings of alienation. I actually felt like at one point in time I really did feel like I was invisible. And I really did feel like I was better off dead at that time, because I was like, I'm so alienated and I'm so anxious. So anxious. I hold so much of it in. I'm panicking, I'm frightened, I'm terrified, I'm not in the right state of mind. I was actively self-harming, and I didn't want to live at that point in time. I didn't. Anxiety is just horrible. Horrible. It's stolen so much from me and other people that feed into it, and the fact that people say they care for you and they never really do. It's very, very few and far between that I've come across people that I can say actually genuinely care about me, and I'm a real motherfucker. So, and that's hand on heart. There's only a few people, I can name them on this hand, who are actually real friends to me and who I actually love as friends and appreciate. But it's draining to think about. The anxiety carries so much. So much. And traumas definitely feed your anxiety. I've had quite a few. I've had the attacks. I've had my abusive ex-boyfriend, who not only was he committing domestic violence, he actually did try to R-word me one night. And when I fought him off, how can I say this and make it YouTube appropriate? He couldn't keep it up, and I was terrified at the time. He couldn't keep it up, and he beat the absolute shit out of me. He beat the absolute shit out of me. He dragged me into the kitchen, he grabbed me by my hair, and he smashed my face into the kitchen cupboard. Full force. Afterwards. That was after he was finished beating the shit out of me in the bedroom. He dragged me from the bedroom by my hair, all the way down the hall, through the living room, to the kitchen, picked me up by my hair, and slammed my head full force into the cupboard. To this day, I've got issues with my jaw. I get severe pains. My face starts swelling because of how hard he smashed my face against that cupboard. And it's normally this side, you can still see here. If you look at this cheek, look at this, and then you can see, definitely when I smile, you can definitely see it. It's hard to trust people. People scare the absolute fuck out of me. They really do. Because you just never know. You just never know. So many people are smoke and mirrors. So many people. You just never know for so many. There's just so much that I don't know, the very thought of people is making me more anxious than I actually want to be. And I don't even want, if I had it my way, I wouldn't even be anxious. I wouldn't even be anxious if I had it my own way. My hopes for the future in regard to anxiety, I hope to get more of a stability. I hope to start getting out there more and, fighting back against my anxiety, getting out there and doing activities and, going to these groups I'm going to. I'm really enjoying them, by the way. If anybody's watching from the group, hi, it was lovely meeting you. I really did have a good time. I've had friends that want to come see me and, I want to go and see them, and I just want to try and kick the anxiety's ass and keep it moving and progress and not go backwards. It's easier said than done, absolutely, but it's doable, and I'm definitely going to give it my best shot. Absolutely. Anxiety has robbed me of a lot. I've said that in this video. I've acknowledged that. And I don't want it to keep robbing me of stuff, of experiences, of relationships. And I don't mean sexual, I mean relationships as like friends, family, people around me, my own sanity. Really, I don't want to keep on being anxious because it's draining. It's so draining being in a constant state of mind. And then when you have panic attacks as well, really severe panic attacks, by the way, to where my whole body's fitting and there's nothing I can do. I have to lie flat on the floor. Just even the thought of getting up in the morning, I want that to change in the future. I want to wake up in the morning and think, yes, I want to take on today. I want to achieve something. I want to have a positive day. I want to have a good day. I want to be productive. I want to do something that's going to make me feel good. I want to be able to just get ready and go out the door without it sending me into utter panic. Even if it's just to the shop, 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away. The panic is just, the anxiety is overwhelming, and that's all that I feel in those moments is just anxiety and stress and disassociation, alienation, so many other contributing factors, and when you mix it all up, I explode, but I am proud of myself. I haven't put my hands on anybody in a long time. It's been over a year. And I don't look for fights. I don't look for arguments. I don't look for confrontation. Because they make me anxious. They actually contribute to my anxiety. It's like, I just want to wake up and have my life and enjoy my life. And for the future, I really do want things to be different. I really am going to try. And that's why I'm happy I'm doing this series and I'm doing this book. And I'm happy that I've decided to go so personal and really tell my story. A lot of people might look at this video and think, you're in your early 20s. Why are you doing a life book? Like a biography or an autobiography, whatever it's called. And I'm doing it to understand myself a little bit more and find, kind of what is the problem with me. I've been doing a lot of self-therapy that like just random. I'm going to insert this bit here. I've been doing what I call self-therapy, so I'm a therapist for myself. I mean, to be honest, they say nobody knows you like you. But I am my self-therapist. And I've been doing that, God, nearly 8 years, and I've learned so much. I've been on I think I've said this in a few videos, I've been on a spiritual journey as well these last 7, 8 years, and oh my God, the amount of things I've learned, the person I am today compared to back then, I get stronger every day. I have my fallbacks, I have my setbacks. I am hard fucking work at times, hard work. I give myself headaches. I stress myself. If I could clone myself, I would start swinging because I really do stress myself out, and I might stress other people out, and I'm like, but bitch, how you think I feel? I live this 24/7, 365. I live this, but I bounce back every time. And I just want to say that this concludes episode 1 of Suha, A Look Inside My Mind. Chapter 1, Anxiety. And before I go, I just want to say, if you guys are interested in the book, it's not going to be released for a while because it's not even done yet. It's just started, but what I'm trying to say is basically in the book you will get to know a lot more about me on an incredibly deep level, to points where I've had to take long hard thinks and breaks and time to recover because I've gone so deep into myself. I've given everything I've got, especially in the pre-planning stages of the book. I gave everything I've got. That's why I know in my heart I've got a good book on the way, a really good book. And what I aim for the book to do and this series to do is help people, educate people, and let people know that, people might watch this video and hear something I've said and be like, oh my God, I didn't recognise that was a thing for me, but oh, I did that, and maybe I've got anxiety, and go and try therapy, and go and talk to your doctor, and there's so many different avenues. I want to help people with this through my story. I think that's part of why I'm so open and wanting to be so open. Like, I'm forcing myself to do it. Like, even before, like, look at my makeup's ruined because I cried. I have never cried on YouTube. I find it cringy, and I am going to leave it in. Suha in editing, leave it in, because the audience appreciate the authenticity, Suha. But yeah, I just want to end it there because I feel like I've spoken a lot and I don't want to get too heavy. But I do hope that this series does help people and educate people. And thank you to every single person that's actually taken the time out to watch this, especially all the way through, because this is an incredibly deep and personal and internal and spiritual, and just, I'm making my most private pain public, really. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. I'm making my most private pain public to show people it's okay to go through whatever events in life. I'm very aware that there's always somebody. That's another thing, like people that try and dismiss it as well. And they're like, oh, well, there's always somebody worse off than you. True, absolutely true. But I feel what I feel. You know what I mean? Just because somebody gets it worse than me doesn't mean that when I go out, I'm not going to be abused. I don't get abused these days because, I have calmed down over this past year, but wouldn't nobody ever get comfortable screaming no shit at me or trying to attack me these days or anything like that, because I would floor that motherfucker. I would floor that motherfucker. I would swipe your teeth out your mouth. Like, completely different Michael to who I was back then, but I don't promote violence, but I do violence. Because if you want it, I mean, yeah. I need to learn to stop being like that. You know, I'm on anger medication for a reason. Yeah, I need to stop that, I really do. But yeah, there's so many things that you can use to deal with your anxiety as well. There's therapy, there's counselling, medications, although I wouldn't say just go straight for medication, but I would say use the medication as a last alternative. There's websites, there's apps these days, there's so many different things, there's so much, you know, social media, and what's that fucking app called that I will never use in my life? TikTok, that's the one. TikTok is huge. Why are we not teaching people about anxiety, the real truth of anxiety? How it is for somebody with severe anxiety to live a life, how it is for a gay feminine man to live the life, how it is for somebody that's very stereotyped and very marginalised and very discriminated against. You know, it's a tiny, tiny look into my life. Tiny look. But if it can help, even if it can just help me, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't give a shit if nobody watches the video, to be quite honest, because like I said, I'm not really doing it for public opinion or for views or for likes, because that's not who I am anyway. I couldn't give a shit about social media and likes and followers. No, I only say what I'm obligated to say. But yeah, I'm going to stop ranting on now. It's been a long one. It's been a long, long one. But yeah, always remember that there is always a rainbow at the end of that dark tunnel. There is always a rainbow at the end of that dark tunnel. There is always light within the darkness. And you've got to have faith in yourself. You really do. Because nobody got you like you. And on that note, I'm going to go. I have been Suha St. Michaels. This is Suha, a look into my mind. Chapter 1, anxiety. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. And thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. And, you know, let me know. Let me know if you want to, you know,